Oh, champ. After an obvious pattern of hanging around questionable white celebrities who promote anti-black rhetoric amid his loss to Kendrick Lamar in a rap battle, Drake was seen with racist country singer Morgan Wallen last night in Houston after Morgan Wallen called scrutiny from media 4 years ago after dropping an N-bomb on video. Now, does this mean that Drake is going to be giving us a country album on his next release, the Iceman album? And does this mean that Drake is completely done with dealing with black Americans on a business level? Hey, look, gang, I need y'all to smash the like button because it does help the algorithm, because we about to get deep. So, Toronto's own Drake, the rapper, appeared at the Morgan Wallen show last night in Houston, Texas. The crowd was in a frenzy. The crowd seemed like they were happy to see Drake there, with Morgan Wallen walking him to the stage, which is very ironic because we've seen similar things at Drake's last big tour in North America, where he would walk out with different celebrities to the stage, ironically so. So I guess this was the theme. However, Morgan Wallen is deemed to be racist, anti-black, after back in February of 2021, he was seen dropping the N-bomb in a drunken rage by his neighbors. Yeah, champs. This was something that TMZ launched back in 2021. Morgan Wallen claimed that he was drunk for at least 72 hours. But this comes with a repeated pattern of Drake hanging around questionable white folks such as Aiden Ross, XQC, who are creators and streamers who have said very anti-black rhetoric as well as done weird things to people of color on camera. I'm just saying, in case you didn't know. Yeah, so Drake also sued a bunch of black creators with his UMG lawsuit, and now is kind of trying to make amends, like with this consonant stream he claims has been postponed since the Kendrick show in Toronto, that is. Yeah, he postponed the show, but he also doesn't want to see consonant in person because he's black. Alright, he just doesn't want to see consonant in person. He'd rather do it from a stream in his safety of his own home. Yeah, he'd rather do it in his own house, alright, instead of actually going to Consonant's house and streaming with him face to face for some weird reason. I don't know. But we also have to remember that Drake is someone who attempted to be a Hells Angels member. Yeah, remember the 81 jackets, the 81 shirts? Those are all Hells Angels symbolism. The most that Drake did was purchase the Hells Angels some Harley Davidson bikes, and they went about their business. Drake cannot be a part of Hells Angels because it is an anti-black biker gang. Yeah, it's anti-black. They only accept people who are pure white, by the way. Yeah, so Drake doing this really isn't no surprise, and I strongly believe that Kendrick's diss records, as well as the reception for the diss records, actually drove Drake down this path. Drake is definitely back in his era where he thinks slang is definitely ignorant.
The guys at our school, instead of addressing people like the group and saying like, what are you guys doing? Say mans like you. It's really weird. Yeah, so mans like you are going to that, and then just means like the group.
Crew.
It's not. It's really ignorant. Really ignorant. Really ignorant. Really ignorant.
Yeah, so remember that Drake? Yeah, that's the Drake who thought slang was ignorant, uneducated. He didn't like it. Now all of a sudden he's using it, but now he's seemingly trying to go back slower and slower. Like slower and slower he seems to be leaning back into his racial beginnings. Yeah, his racist beginnings. Yeah, because he didn't like black people at first. He didn't grow up in a black area. He grew up in a predominantly white area out there in Toronto. Let's be real. Alright? All champ. So yeah. So back to this Morgan Wallen guy. In case you didn't know, let's take a look at what he's done. The nonsense that is under his name. So back in February of 2021, A video surfaced showing country music star Morgan Wallen using a racial slur. Specifically, the video, which was shared by TMZ and reportedly captured by a neighbor, showed Wallen using the N-word while returning home from a night out with friends. He was then suspended from his record label, Big Loud Records, suspended his recording contract indefinitely, and Republic Records supported this decision. Music pulled from the radio and streaming services. Major radio stations and streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music removed his music from their platforms and curated playlists. He also apologized, by the way. He said Wallen issued a statement to TMZ expressing his embarrassment and regret, acknowledging the language was unacceptable. He also did a video apology. He later released a video apologizing on Instagram, stating he was attempting to get sober and had spoken to black community leaders. He asked his fans not to defend him, accepting full responsibility for his actions, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with apologizing. Me personally have met people who claim to be formerly racist and etc. And I'm not saying people cannot change, but some people just don't change. And we know that Drake actually has been friends with Morgan Wallen even before the Kendrick beef or battle, I should say. Yeah, he's always been friends with Morgan Wallen. Just a couple years ago, they got a picture together, right? They was in a video together. So he's very fond of Morgan Wallen, and Morgan Wallen is fond of him. They know each other to some degree, okay? But Drake has only been, hanging with these questionable white celebrities and white creators because he's mad. He's not doing any more North American tours, but honestly, if we're being real, would he even sell out any American tours? Because his next tour is in Europe for a reason. He has to go overseas because that's where they really don't care as much about the things that Drake does. They're not as crazy when it comes to how we feel about Drake in other countries like Australia, like Europe. But at the end of the day, they just might though. Because remember, in Australia, which was Drake's last tour, the Anita Maxwell tour, he didn't really sell that many tickets and kind of had to bribe his fans to come, making the tickets a lot cheaper. Alright, so was it really that other countries, other places outside of the US just didn't feel the same way that everyone else did en masse? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. However, it seems like the numbers don't lie. It seems like maybe even this European tour that Drake is going on might not be as crazy as we think. Or will it? I don't know. A lot of people say that Drake is having the Ja Rule effect. Well, he just might. He might be having an anti-black version of the Ja Rule effect, that is. But even worse, alright, this type of, destruction that Drake is facing, it's just of a different tier, man. It's just not what Drake was expecting to happen either. Like, Drake's ego was so up here, so high, that he didn't ever think that something like this would ever happen. This day never happened in Drake's head. He never thought this day would come, but here it is, champ. Reality is crazy. I know, champ. Listen, just because you're rich, just because you have it all, doesn't mean you can't fall down neither, alright? Listen, there's nobody that's above the program, as they say in California. Alright, Drake, you're not above the program, champ. You can fall just like anyone else can fall. The money doesn't make you, as Kendrick would say. Alright, nor does the fame. But Drake seems to be suffering. Drake is trying to fight back against the masses of black people that once were his fans, because he understands that they see him for who he is. And someone that's so narcissistic like a Drake, so pretentious like a Drake, who needs people to glaze him in order for them to be around him, you would think that this hurts him to the core. He is heartbroken. You just don't really see it. All the drinking, all the gambling. This is an escape. Yeah, the gambling, the wine spritzers. This is an escape for Drake. Drake needs that escape because he can't deal with reality, because he can't face it. He doesn't realize or understands or can believe that he is actually falling apart, right? And once he's fully fallen apart, that's gonna hit him even worse. he might have to be put into a mental health clinic. As a matter of fact, I think now is the best time to put him in a mental health clinic because he's definitely going through it. Alright, I think Drake is on the verge of trying to be full blown white. Just my personal opinion. This Iceman album to me that he's about to release could be a country album or might have country albums on it. Could have a Morgan Wallen collab on top of it, gang. You never know. Or could he be trying to rap? Listen, this is all speculation. Nothing that I'm saying as far as this goes is actually facts. Just my professional opinion, gang. Let's be real. But again, when it comes to Drake, bro, Drake is suffering, man. Drake doesn't seem like he is for the black people anymore. We seen the UMG lawsuit where he sued multiple creators who weren't white, even though a bunch of white creators definitely reacted to all of Kendrick's disses destroying Drake. He only targeted the black folks because he wanted to. And now he's kind of trying to make amends to a certain degree, but then he's kind of falling back. Who knows? It's hot and cold when it comes to that situation. When it comes to Drake in the black community, it's kind of hot and cold relationship at this point. And honestly, to me, this is a colorism issue. I think that a lot of people who are glazers of Drake, not so much just regular fans, the average person listening to Drake, but I mean the die-hard, try-hard Drake fans have a colorist issue and have a problem with people of the darker skin complexion. And that's just how I personally see it. Alright, there is definitely a colorist agenda at play when it comes to this Kendrick and Drake beef. But the problem is the fans are keeping it ongoing. They're keeping it, they're making it happen. And I really don't want to say fans, I want to say glazers. They're keeping this thing going way too long. And it's only because of a colorist agenda, man. They're mad because Kendrick seems to be a quote-unquote pro-black person making a name for himself, and they don't like that. It rubs them the wrong way. And Drake makes them feel comfortable because Drake is a degenerate, doesn't stand for anything. He kind of represents the average loser. So because he represents the average loser, it's more comforting for them to see him on top rather than the Kendrick Lamar who actually points the mirror in your face. It makes you realize, I am doing something wrong here. Damn, I am a loser. Damn, I am messing up. They don't want to hear they messing up. They want to be validated for the madness that they do in their life, the destruction they do. They want to be validated for the destruction. They want to know that whatever they're doing is popular to do and they're not doing anything wrong, even though they're completely destroying their life and sabotaging their reality. Let's just be real about the situation, gang. Alright, I'm just saying. But check this out. I want y'all to let me know how y'all feel about all of this in the comment section. Is the mayor bugging? Is Drake purposefully going against the black community or just the hip-hop community in general because he's mad and this is his form of get back since he can't really do anything else? You let me know how you feel in the comment section, but most importantly, I need y'all to smash that like button. Get these likes up. It helps the algorithm, it helps the mayor, it helps my channel, by the way. Alright? And of course, I have a special announcement for you guys. Are you ready? It's the mayor. The one and only real New York Mayor F. Eric Adams, and you're rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham. And you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Make sure you smash a like, make sure you share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. Also join the Discord, link will be in the comments. I'm up out of here, gang. Salute.